Okay, basically, what's going on at the athletic complex right now is that we're in the middle of, they just got, just melted the ice, and we're gonna get ready to install the blanket that we've been talking about. And as part of this program, when we looked at the whole situation there, the lighting there is very old and very inefficient. So we worked out a deal with the UI where we're going to be doing the blanket at the same time as new lighting. That will not cost us any money up front, and it's got a payback of 2.5 years. Because the UI is going to give us an incentive for doing some of that work, and the rest will come out of savings, of energy savings. We also started looking at the whole situation there with the chillers and the motors. Those are the original ones, which are, I believe, was it 63 or 67 when the athletic complex was built. And by looking at the situation, since you're redoing the whole thing, if we were to spend some money and include this in the capital improvement program, which we're asking for to add $150,000 to the capital improvement program for this fiscal year, the UI company will give us an incentive of like $150,000, and they'll let us finance $75,000 through the savings. So in essence, it will cost $150,000. However, by doing these three items, we'll save about 50% of the energy cost. Right now, you're spending about $140,000 there, between $130,000 to $140,000 in electricity there.
A year?
Yeah. So we believe we've cut that to about 75, to about half, 50%, by doing some of this work.
So you're talking about a 2-year payback for...
Yeah.
And it's payback out of the savings. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
See, the whole thing, we think it's going to cost between $300 to $350. We kept it a little high to make sure there's enough money in there to do the whole project. And the UI will give us a $150,000 incentive for doing that. So, it's like, and the problem is, sooner or later these motors are going to go, and you will have to do them anyway, because they're very old. So.
No, we have to put the money up front and then they reimburse us? Or
No.
we just have to prove it?
Everything happens,
They'll give you the money to go
simultaneously.
along?
Yes. We actually have an RFP out right now for an energy consultant, where we have to start looking at a serious looking at these energy saving measures. As a matter of fact, we talked about a windmill probably at the high school.
yeah.
Because
We've
that's
looked
an
at wind
area-
power, solar power, and we're looking into all the different avenues.
Even if the water company would go, up on their property on that mountain, feed that. It would
But even,
feed the
even
middle
if you
school.
have solar power, you're still online with the UI. So you're not,
Your consumption
still
is...
got ya.
That's it.
But if you generate more than you use, they have to buy it from you.
Yes. But, so it's not, that wouldn't even be creating a situation where we weren't utilizing the
Yeah, basically, we're working something with UI where we have a generator at the high school, and we have generators, we have several generators in town, but the one with the high school, if we turn this generator on basically a couple times a year during peak times, we'll be able to get back like $40,000 to $50,000 from the UI. And so we wanted to establish an energy conservation fund, because we figured instead of throwing the money in the general fund and have it get lost, we get a special revenue fund going, or capital project fund, depending what the auditors want to call it. And the money will go into this fund, and this is where we can take monies to, to make some improvements to buildings for green energy. So, we're working this out right now. The fire chief has been working with the Board of Education to figure out exactly what's on that generator. Since that's going to be an emergency shelter up there, we wanted to make sure that certain things work off the generator. and that's what they're figuring out now. If some things are not on, UI will also pay to put in some new circuits to the generator. So there'll be certain rooms, specific areas that will go on the generator. And it's a good idea to have it run anyway, to make sure this thing works. Because, it's a motor, so if you don't run it, when you read it in an emergency situation, you don't know if it's gonna run. So this will be a good test also.
This is a great
It's free money.
opportunity on a lot of levels. This is something we should be doing anyway, testing the generator, make sure it works. The UI is going to pay us to do that, which is a great thing, and this will help us establish this energy conservation fund, so we'll have some seed money to work on some of those other energy conservation projects.
I don't think this is just a test, this is putting power back into the grid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So in other words, instead of the high school running on the, running on the UI, we'll actually run on the generator. And, it's done in the summertime, and, he's got summer school going for, a few weeks, and, we want to make sure that those rooms are energized off the generator.
And this opens the doors for grants and,
Oh, yeah. Well, once you have this money, you could use this fund. Let's say you wanted to make the town hall green. Now you have some seed money there, and with the money that combined from the state Connecticut Energy Fund, that you can start doing some things.
And that's the point, we need to start getting ahead of
and this
these
would be
things.
for green energy, not window replacements
No,
or?
absolutely, just for green energy.
All right.